All right. Oh, I don't want that to look like that. Let's make sure that I am out of the way there. Yeah, I should be good. Let me make sure. Let me make sure that I don't have that all jacked up on the video. Hold on. Make sure I have my filters off. Edit filters. Yeah, filters good. All right. So, what are we doing today? We're not working too hard. We're just going to be doing some systems work in the Linux world and possibly getting ready for, oh gosh, plenty of stuff to get ready for, but maybe getting ready for some Unit 9 of our Linux course. So we'll be probably working on that. And yeah, I think I have that up here somewhere. Yeah, Unit 9. Okay. Unit 9, all that stuff. Got my Linux up over here. Stop that. All right. So, what are we working on? We'll get some of that stuff going. Yeah, should be good. Letting you guys know that there's a group out there for you guys to hang out with that does Linux. That's the crux of it, right? Looks like people are down there answering questions, so that's good. People are working on the course as we speak. So, what do I need to do? Here's our syllabus. You know what I thought would have been fun today? I thought about doing very quiet. Oh, hold on. I shouldn't be. Can you not hear me? How's 3D Code Warrior? How's it going? You can't hear me, Doominator? I mean, it seems like I'm pretty good. Yeah, you might want to check. I mean, I don't have my sound too loud. My sound is at 6. Yeah, that's not too bad. And then my microphone looks like it's blasting on you guys, so should be good. I guess I wasn't talking too loud. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you guys could see my Yeti, and it's the whole thing, I'm spiking up to like 80-90% the entire time that I talk. Well, maybe I'm spiking to like around 70 or 80, but the point is, like, when I talk, I mean, I feel like I'm really blasting it, but I don't have any gain on my thing. I could set some gain if we needed, but let me go look here. Yeah, I have it all the way up. All right. Anyway, so what are we doing today? I thought about adding a fun little thing, giving people access to labs while we're here talking, but I don't know. I guess we'll ease into that and see how that kind of works, because I do have a lab environment that you guys can use, and we could all kind of be doing Linux in the same lab environment, which I think would be pretty beneficial. But yeah, mostly we're just hanging out, and I'm gonna work on some of the presentation stuff and maybe some of the lab stuff. We were looking at this stuff earlier. We were looking at NIST for different authorities, and we were looking at when BSD came around. All right. Keeping an eye on Ranger. All right. What else are we doing around here? Let's move this over here. And let's move this over here. Another thing we were working on earlier is we had this, and we were just making stuff up kind of as we went in here around all of our lab stuff. So basically, anytime somebody asked me a question earlier, I was throwing it up here so you guys would kind of know what we had talked about. What do I need to do though? So this next little bit of courses that we have, well, I guess we got to decide. Do we want to talk about the next set of courses and Unit 9 and beyond, or do I want to just sit around? How's it going? Where are my teeth? Do I want to do that, or do I want to sit around and just do labs? Like, do we just want to do labs in Linux and stuff, or do we want to do like Linux systems administration stuff? And I guess in the big scheme of things, I'll pretty much do whatever. I don't really care what we're working on. But we can kind of think about that. Also, let me see something about this. Can I scan this? Can I roll out? I can't roll that out. Okay. Probably pick a different size font, but I can't actually just roll it in and out, so that's annoying. Alright. Can't do it there either, but I knew that. You're gonna be lurking? Yeah, you're welcome to. You guys are welcome to kind of hang out and lurk. I'm not working too hard just yet. But what I do need to do is open up some. Let me open up a couple things over here on Twitch to get my dashboard up. Creator dashboard. Oh, I probably need to put on my YouTube over here. See how this goes. See what comes up over here. We'll get there eventually. Alright, there we are. We're live over there. And edit. Make sure the description looks right. Yep. Make sure that that's good. Alright. There's not really much I can do over there. Yeah, King Subaki, you're welcome to hang out as much as you want. No, where are my teeth? That's fine. Yeah, I was on earlier. I was just co-working, kind of hanging out, and didn't work too hard. I was just kind of building stuff a little bit in my home environment and doing some work stuff. What I need to do, though, is... What was this? This was one of our old agendas. So sometimes we keep agendas of our meetings and stuff, so we kind of know what we talked about and what we worked on or whatever. What else? Gotta think about what we're actually working on today. We haven't really hit any of this stuff super hard for a while. What we could do, which I think is always kind of fun, is we could do some killer coda labs. I always think that that's a good option for getting people into looking at this and kind of looking at how it works and everything. So we could focus on that if we wanted to. We could start on Ansible. Actually, I think we started on Ansible a few weeks ago on like a Sunday, but I haven't really hammered into you guys any Ansible in a while. But I think there's some good stuff to work on in here and get some skills at it. So we could do that, I guess. I really don't. I'm kind of ambivalent. The wife is laying down. She's got a really bad sore throat, so she's kind of hanging out. I think this happens to people every time the weather starts to shift in Phoenix. So she's got a really bad sore throat right now. So I could go in there and lay by her, or I can hang out and stream for a little bit. And I already took care of her. I made sure she had the stuff she needed, and she had like an antiseptic spray that she wanted and some other stuff. Got her 7-Up, so it would maybe help her throat a little. But we can do... Yeah, we do whatever. We could check if we wanted to. Let's go look at some of our other labs. What other labs have we not done in a while? Got our HashiCorp labs. We got our Kubernetes labs. We can do some Kubernetes labs if you guys wanted. Work through some of those. We haven't done those in a while. Although a lot of that stuff is, I think, pretty straightforward if you're just working on it and doing that kind of stuff. You know what would be fun here? We'll do... I haven't made us do this since we started our Linux Systems Administration course. Let's go look at Fisherman's labs. You guys been in Fisherman Guy Bros labs? I'll link these over to you. Here, just boom, drop it in our multi-stream here, so we can see both sides. I'll make sure that drops on both of you guys. Good. Okay. Let's do some of his labs. If you guys haven't ever seen any of his labs, they're pretty good. They make you do some Linux systems administration. They make you think about being a sysadmin and the kind of things that you probably are going to see, and you're going to get some weird things as a Linux systems administrator. So that's good. Kate labs would be better. Lasan, are you, or I don't know how to say that, Lasan, are you doing like a Kubernetes cert anytime soon? Are you working on any of that stuff? I could do Kubernetes labs too, but let's do this real quick. We'll go back. So the way he starts these are all you're a junior Linux sysadmin, and it says you think you got what it takes to start your career in Linux, right? So it's kind of a little more challenging as far as they're going to ask you some stuff and give you some trouble tickets and that kind of stuff, right? Kind of a working model that he has. So the first one is this user has forgotten his password. His name is Bob Blursky, so his username is B Blursky. Let's make sure that that's his username. And we need to set his password to temp123. That's how you, you can actually just do B Blursky, sorry. And then temp123 and temp123. I don't know what I was thinking, 123. All right, so that'll update his thing. Hey, Jug Pearl, how's it going? We're not working too hard right now. We're just kind of hanging out. But now we've updated his password, and there's a hint. If you need it, it's passwd, so you can man passwd and learn a little more about it and what it can do. Now, it doesn't just do passwords. It also can expire somebody's account, or it can also delete a user's password, and typically we use -S for status. And where's the one that does, yeah, you can lock. So you can lock, you can give it a number of minimum days. It can do a lot more than just reset a password. That just tends to be what we normally use it for. In fact, I think I've used it, I've set it, and I've unlocked passwords. Those are like the only two things I've ever done, is set passwords and unlock passwords. I've never deleted passwords and do any of that other stuff. It's just that I know that I can do that now. So we did that. We set a user's password. And then it says our friend Bob Blursky is at again. He keeps getting alert emails that he's using too much storage in his home directory. Well, if his ID is B Blursky and we go to home, that's probably going to be the name of his home directory. Now, it doesn't have to be. Your home directory can be set to something else. So the definitive way that we would know on this system where his home directory is set is we would look for B Blursky from etc passwd. And it will be the sixth field of that file. So here's the first field, the second, third, fourth, fifth is empty, sixth is his home, so B Blursky is his home. So we're going to go into home B Blursky, and in here, if we do a df-h dot, we see that it's in root, and if we do a du-sh dot, we'll see that it's 5.1 gigs. But why is it so big? Well, if we look in here, there's some stuff, and we could go look through each one of them. We could do a du-sh and look for all of them. Family and pictures, so I cd to family and pictures, and there's this one giant movie, whatever that MKV is. So it says that we can delete anything in there. Let's get rid of his Xmas file, and then we cd up again, du-sh dot, and he's under the things. Yeah, so he's under the size, and then we can check, and we should be good. Boom, validation successful. So all we did for him was we cleaned up his home directory, right? Yeah, so we checked how big it was, we found where that big item was, and then we went down in there and took care of it, right? So those are two tasks. I mean, those may be kind of relatively quick tasks for you, but maybe if you're a junior engineer or junior admin, you've never run into one of those. You know, you go and you do a lot in college, but then when you get out into the world, then you're running into all these weird user issues. So, you know, we got to get used to it. Bob submitted another ticket. This time he can't create any files in the apps finance directory. So this one's interesting, right? We do a PWD, we see where we're at. We do an ID on B Blursky, because that's going to be one of the most important things, is who is he and what permissions does he have based on his groups. So then we can just do an ls-ld on apps, right? And then ls-ld on apps finance, and see that apps finance here is owned by the root owner right here, and the group owner is these finance devs. Finance devs have read, write, and execute in there, so they can do everything. Yeah, so we might be able to add him to a group possibly. So maybe we look for the group, so we grep finance from etc group, and we see that they're there. Yeah, so I might just go and grab his username here, vi etc group. There's also group add commands. And then I'll just go over here and just add him as an extra user. Control-Shift-V in this thing will paste it. :WQ, right, to save it. PWD stands for print working directory, or I used to think it was path working directory, but it's print working directory, so it shows the directory you're in. So now if I do an ID Beblerski, we'll see that he's got a secondary group. So this is primary group and these are secondary groups. He's got a secondary group of that. So if I really wanted to, I can say, there's a few things I can do, but I'll SU to Beblerski, and then I'll just make sure that I can CD to apps finance. Dev, finance, yep. And then touch, some file. Yep, I can do it. In case you don't want to have, it doesn't seem well when you can mess things up. Yeah, so you could do, there's different things that we could do for sure. These labs are pretty simple and straightforward. But yeah, I mean, I think the idea is that he belonged to the finance devs group because he's new to a project and he hasn't worked on it yet. But yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of things that we could definitely have in there for that. I think I'm not 100% sure that's true, Raleigh. We can try it. Let's CD to, well, as him we can for sure, but let's exit and become the root user. I'm not 100% sure that's going to work, but maybe. Yeah, okay. I guess, I mean. I guess I'd never seen that before. I guess I was already over there. Hold on. Yeah, I've not seen that before. Yeah, you could do it that way too. Guys, there's a lot of ways to do it. There's no one way to do it. I'm a big fan of editing files directly because, I mean, I've always just edited files directly and then the tools came later. But you, as long as you know what the editing of the file is going to do. Yeah, but typically tilde means your home directory, so that's why I was surprised that it would do it for any one. Yeah. So, okay, so we've got that good, right? Directory ownership. Simple. No. Okay, so now Bob's been doing stuff. Bob pinged us on Slack. He's wondering if we saw his urgent ticket that he just submitted 2 minutes ago. And Bob's lost an important document. So he's lost an important doc. He doesn't know where he put it. We need to find it for him and put it in home Beblerski. Now, in some systems, depending on how many things you have attached, this could be a really long process to find. So we know we don't have much, so we'll just start in the root and we'll say find from here name and it's important, and we can just do an exclamation mark or a glob and asterisk, right? And this is where he put it. So now we can take that file, we can just move temp 686487 important doc into home Beblerski. But what's going to happen here, if we cd to home Beblerski, is now that important doc's there, but check this out. If we just ls-l everything, is he going to have any permission? He can read that doc, but is he going to have any permissions to do anything with that doc? He can't change it. Oh, no, wait, we moved it, so it kept the permission sets. Never mind. If we had copied it, I moved it, so it was fine. I've copied that before, and when you copy it, you put the root permissions on it. So I wasn't thinking, but there's that. All right. So... Yeah, so there you go. All right, that'll do it, and then we hit check, and then that's good. All right, so great job. You started out, you're getting ready to do Linux administration. Then you can go jump into the second one. So we'll go jump over into the second one that he's got, which isn't going to start until you close down the other one typically. All right, so it says you started the first, you completed the first one, don't get too cocky, and he gives you some more problems, right? And we can do these ones. I could let you guys, if any of you guys want to work on these, I'll let you guys do them and I'll go a little slower. I won't just blow through them. But this is the lab that we're doing. If anybody wants to do it. And I'll take a little more time on this one. I won't just blow through it, and I'll let you guys actually do it. But the first one is the server's slow. So something's happening. Yeah. So the second one is now there's stuff happening. There's something going on with the server, and he says he's breaking in the new server while he went to lunch. So we're not really sure what he meant, but we can take a look at the server and see what's happening. So we can try to figure out what's going on by looking at, you know, whatever inside of the server. Are there any prerequisite skills needed or recommending start? Shinga, I don't think so. I mean, I think you can do. I think you could start these. I mean, I would know some basic Linux stuff, but his labs are much more like they expect you to know some stuff. My labs are much more just they'll walk you through and show you all the commands. And the reason I do that is because I'm just convinced that people get in there and like see the commands happen, they'll be fine. Like they'll understand if they look at it long enough. I think if you just get drug along through the process, eventually one day you'll go, I kind of get it. Might not be all of it, but you'll get some of it. So, anyway, so it says the server's starting slow, and there's some kind of process that's chewing up all our CPU. What would we do to find that? How would we verify maybe? How would I verify maybe that the server's being used heavily? Would that do it? Uptime looks a little high here. Top. Let's do top. What if we knew it was B. Blurski doing something? So what if we did like a PSEF and looked for B. Blurski? Would that work? Maybe see what he's doing and see that he's stressing the nodes out, stressing the system. We could do top. Top will show you what's going on. Bob Blurski's definitely got some PID that's doing something. So then PSEF grep for that PID. You don't need the -I, but something's stressing our box out, right? Yeah, so there is definitely a stress program running. So we could go ahead and stop that if we want. We can. There's two ways we could stop this really. We can kill it by the process ID right there, or if we're just tired of Bob's bullshit, we can pkill -u by his username. It just kills whole user off the server if we really want to. And that should then, there shouldn't be anything running by B. Blurski. There shouldn't be anything if I do an uptime causing high load on my system if I wanted to check it for a while. Right? Just sit here and watch the system drop to a reasonable CPU load average here. But that's going to slowly drop. Then we say, okay, we killed off whatever BS was happening. We could also check top. Nothing's high anymore. So we can hit check and validation successful. So we found the first one. Now, next one says, it's just fucking Bob. Bob Blurski just pinged us on Slack. He's writing a new script and really needs calsay installed on the server. So you already told him that it shouldn't be installed on production servers, but he escalated to his manager saying that you were delaying his project. So his manager then pinged your manager who pinged you just to tell you to just install it. So security team has rubber stamped his exception request he submitted for installing frivolous software. So install calsay on the server, and we can go ahead and move on to something more important. So what do we need to do to get, this is a, if you don't know the type of system, they'll tell you what type of system we're on. What do we need to do to get calsay on this box? What are we doing here? What are we doing here, guys? We do apt install calsay. That'll install it. Oh wow. Superman, can I tell you something funny? Your name is so dark on this one screen I have that I literally, it's like, it's too black to read. That's kind of funny. Yep, so we'll do an apt install and we'll get calsay for him. Now you might say, well, why didn't you need a -y? Because the -y is only if there's a dependency. So if he doesn't have a dependency, it's just going to install that software for him. So there we go. All right. So now this one's fun. Security team has sent over a ticket. They notice that someone is SSHing into the server as root. This needs to be blocked immediately before it gets flagged during an audit. So now we got to figure out, we've got to break from Bob's shenanigans. We got something else to do. So we need to update the configuration file in order to block SSH logins from the root user. So which file do we need to go edit on this box? And how would we find it? Anybody know what file controls SSHD? I have no idea what my closed captioning that said there. I said, does anybody, well, whatever. Closed captioning definitely didn't get what I actually said there, so that's kind of funny. Yep, so there's a config file. So cd to etc ssh, there's a bunch of them in here. We need the sshd_config. That's right. And permit root login is yes. We could something like this if we wanted to. We could leave the default pretty much untouched and just change that to no. I want to show you guys something about this lab though, and I think Fisherman might have fixed it. I just fixed that right there, right? But did I actually fix it on my server? So let's hit check, and it says successful. But hold on, but let's back up a second. If you update a config file, yeah, there you go. If you didn't restart SSHD, did you actually do anything? I tell people all the time, if I wrote 2 copies of a shopping list, and then my wife takes one to the store, right? And she's out there shopping, and I go, oh, I want some snacks, and I just write it on my copy of the list. Does my wife at the store know? And the reason I say it like that is because when you edit a config file for a service, the service isn't checking that config file. It only checks it on startup. And there's a good reason for that. What if it were checking it and you were editing it, but you didn't have everything you want yet? Like you don't have everything in there yet. Or you've saved it halfway ready. That's not good. So you want to have everything ready before you restart a service. So technically this one says you're okay to go on, but this server would still be allowing. In fact, it may even get flagged by security that it's okay, but it's not okay yet. This is not okay until we do this. Till we restart the SSHD service and verify that we have a new PID for that service from right now. That's right now? Yep. That's right now. So UTC is ahead of us. Well, ahead of me because I'm not in Friday yet. Yeah, you have to do that. Otherwise, you haven't actually changed anything. You've only changed your copy. The config file sitting there doesn't get read until service restarts. And this is actually a pretty big thing for a systems administrator to understand. Engineers know this well because we're building servers all the time, right? But administrators don't always think of it, and they'll fix something, and they'll fix something quick right there. But if you don't put whatever that is into a config file, if you don't make that change persistent, it's not going to come up when the server comes back up again. And you might say, well, why are there so many? Why do you always? I always give this example of you get called out in the middle of the night and you find out that the server rebooted. The reason I give that example is because that is probably the thing that I've gotten called out for more than all other things put together as a administrator and engineer over the years. Probably the most often thing I've gotten called out and then had to fix was that something rebooted, but somebody hadn't made some change from months before persistent. Almost universally. In fact, so much so that I'd say it's probably like over 75% of my call outs that I've gotten over the years. Just something simple, but it took real customer facing downtime, and that's always a problem. You don't want to take customer facing downtime. All right. So anyways, we blocked SSH. Now I think we're back to Bob. Just when we thought our day was over. We're dealing with Bob again. Bob says he needs to generate an SSH key for his user, but doesn't remember how. So let's just do it for him so that we can be done with the day. You do not have to do a daemon reload unless you change something that system D is actually going to touch. So you're changing the config file of the service, not the config file that is being, not the service file that system D is running. So you don't have to do a daemon reload unless you change something within the system D system. Yeah. Just, yeah. That's the main thing. Now, if you were going to change the way that it started, like you were going to set a command flag or something. By the way, here's how you would find that: systemctl cat sshd, and it'll tell you this is where I read it from. And let's just say I wanted to change something here. Once I change something in this file there, then yes, I would have to do a daemon reload. But if I just change a config file of a service, I don't have to change that. No. So that's how we differentiate that. All right. So what's the easiest way to make this user something? Let's SU to Beblerski. We'll just become Bob. Who are we? We're Beblerski. And where are we at? We're in his home. So if I ls-la in here, I do not see a .ssh directory. Do you guys see a .ssh directory? It's not there. The SSH keygen command will, by default, make a .ssh directory if you need it. You can also specify other directories if you want, but your SSH client's not going to look there by default, so you might have to go configure your client, which is super easy to do, but we don't need to worry about that. SSH keygen. Ugh. And we'll just hit enter, and it says, I will generate you a private key pair, public and private key pair, and we're going to put it by default in home beblerski.ssh id_RSA. All right. So we could change that. That's just the default. And we'll go ahead and take it. So it makes it. And then it asks us if we want a passphrase. We don't need a passphrase. Sometimes you do for some government STIG compliances, but we'll be good for right now. And then if I ls-la again, we'll see now that there's this .ssh, and it is set correctly at 700. If I cd to .ssh and do an ls-l, we'll see that the id_RSA is the private key. And how do you know it's the private key? Well, look, it's set to 600. And the public key can be spread far and wide. You can go throw your public key in the town square. That's 644, so that's very permissive for reading. Fernando over on YouTube said, any tips on what's the best place to learn about Bash Shell? Taking OS1, I'm pretty unsure how to get rolling. The task is to implement a large subset of POSIX shell's functionality. Best way, if you just have to learn Bash for the function of learning Bash, tldp.org is the best. That's where I would start. I would go right here. If you, this is the best place, I would say. If you just say, hey Scott, I just want to get my hands on some Bash shells and learn how to do some stuff in there, and I need to learn how to use Linux, I might recommend that you go here, which is my labs. Labs are free. They don't cost you nothing. But this will show you how to move around inside of Linux. Mine will. Mine will show you looking around Linux, checking kernels, checking disks, IP ports, connecting and pushing systems around screen, tmux, DNS, variables, condition. Like, I've got a bunch of stuff that just kind of makes you, yeah. But look, if it's for a class or you just have to do something for an academic purpose, tldp.org is the best on the web. Because you can look up tldp.org and then, like, let's say you need to learn Bash functions tldp, right, which is the Linux documentation project. Here you go, boom, functions. Yeah, I put the link. Oh, for tldp, yeah, here. Just tldp.org. I mean, literally can't get any easier than that, but there you go. All right. So, Beblerski, he needed the help. You gave him the help, but then you went and looked at it, and it's good. So there you went. You monitored some CPUs. You installed some software. You did some SSH stuff for protecting your system, and then you generated an SSH key for a user. Now, I might argue this disable one probably is part of a longer discussion, because now you have to take that and push that change you did back into the like, so I'm the systems engineer. I'm the guy who builds the servers and makes them come out the same way. And that right there is a change of my baseline. When I build a new server, it's going to be back to the old way again. And as we go more to like CI/CD pipelines and servers are cattle, not pets type methodologies, we need to actually get those changes back into our pipeline. Anything you fix at the end doesn't really solve any problems. You got to get it into the pipeline, right? So that's one of the ones that I might argue is only part of it. There's more to it. So I'm not related. How do I feel about the election results? I'm gonna tell you guys the same thing I always tell you guys. My job is to be the best engineer I can be, and I tell people all the time, like, it doesn't matter to me who's in charge of something way out up there, whether I like the guy or not, whether I like the woman or not, it doesn't matter. I've been saying for a long time, like, the same people that I know that have been complaining since '08, back when Obama first got elected, the same people I know that have been complaining since then haven't done nothing the last 20 years. So it's like, my thing is, I try not to be too political about it. It's just, I'm gonna do the best I can. I've been an engineer for 20 years. I've been a college professor for 16. I've trained over 5,000 engineers. My goal is to hit over 10,000 by the time I quit teaching. So I got another 15 years or so. And I just like, elections are elections. It is what it is, whether you like it or not. So that's my take on it, because I don't like to get too political about things. But that's just because I was asked on the YouTube side, guys, for anybody that was wondering. So we go over here. We got this done. Boom. Let's go to lab 3. Now, lab 3 actually is his hardest lab. Let's go to... Oh, we can't go back. So let's see if we can find... Did he just call it 3? Let's see. I think he just called it 3. Yeah, here we go. All right, so this one's the most challenging one by far. So if you guys want to follow along, here's the lab. If you guys want to blaze ahead of me, you can. There we go. Did you complete part 2? Interesting. Maybe you have what it takes to keep the user issues at bay. We'll find out soon enough. They can certainly get creative at times. So users are going to do weird stuff. This is the truth of life, right? We're gonna find weird stuff with our users. So, high priority ticket has just come in from Bob Blursky. He says that something wrong with the server. All of his commands are broken and not working. He can't even list the files in his home directory. Everything was working fine last time he logged in. He insists that we must have patched the server and broke something. Is asking us how long it will take to roll back. Let's see what this guy's talking about. So find what's causing B. Blursky's problems and fix the issues. His name is B. Blursky. All right, he's a problem maker, right? He's causing us problems the whole time. I'll make this a little bigger so you guys can see. So, ID B. Blursky. We see that he's there. We could look for him if we needed to. And Etsy pass WD if we need to find out information. The user's there, right? I mean, that's not busted. But one of the things I like to do, if a user's having a problem, I'll just SU to the user, right, on the system. And like he's got something severely wrong, right, with his environment. And if we echo shell, we see his shell, but if we echo path, he doesn't have a path. Which, by the way, as soon as stuff starts breaking, that's one of the things I would check. Like, and then which LS will check all the paths, but he doesn't even have LS. So I'm going to back slowly away from this user and go, what the hell are you doing, Bob? And we're going to go into his home directory, right? And in his home directory, he's got a whole bunch of files. And his files are the default files that come with a created user. They're called the dot files many times. They're the dot files. They're hidden. And he probably mucked around with his dot files. This happens often with users. They muck about with these files and break them. So there's a couple ways we can fix it. We could delete them all and then copy them back in from Etsy Skell. Right? Etsy Skell is where the files are that were populated into a user's new home directory, right? But that's probably not what we need. Why don't we just go look? We could do a few things. We could probably stat and see which of his files that was busted recently yet. How does he have a path if he... How does he not have a path if he has a /home? King Tsubaki, it's path is going to be where your system looks for its executables, and he has somehow wiped his path. So let's go look at what this guy did, because it's almost always in... These users almost always do something to their bash RC. Almost always. Let's go look. Shift G to the bottom. Look at that. He has an export path of nothing at the end. What people tend to mean when they want something like that, they sometimes mean something like this. Something like this, and then they add a value, or they interpolate something and drop something in there. But it's almost always, because what this does is this says path is, and that's not equal sign. That some people think that's an equal sign in programming. One single equal sign, which is what we call it, is actually the hell's that called? It's an assignment operator. Good Jesus. I was like, what the... My brain's busted. It's an assignment operator. One of them operates almost like a little dump truck and dumps everything from the right to the left. That's what an assignment operator is. Single equal sign is an assignment operator. Two equal signs means equals, right? It means to test for equality. But God, it's an assignment operator. So if you don't have this path, it doesn't assign what's already there. He effectively, right here, wiped his path. So let's just go ahead and DD that line. And then now, if we become the user again, which is super easy to do, just SUB Blurski, echo $path, he's got a path again, which ls, he's got ls, he should be good, right? So then we say show, and then there's some stuff, and then we hit check, and we're good. So there we go. All right. So this one is this one's a little funky. It actually took me, this one took me a little while, because I walked away from it and I came back and got this one working. But ticket comes in from an application. I didn't know what he was testing for. Once I figured out what he was testing for, this one was easy. But I didn't know what he was testing for. So I'm going to let you guys think about this one for a second before I answer this one. This one is Bob Blurski is trying to make something. Oh, it isn't Bob Blurski this time. Somebody's trying to make a bigger file on the server than they have permissions to do. And the username for their app that they're trying to do is AppAdmin. So we want to give AppAdmin and only AppAdmin the ability to create a file of any size on the system. Now, the check for this one isn't exactly like I like, but it took a while to figure out, because really what he's saying here is AppAdmin but not B Blurski. So at least in my testing of this. So if you guys want to try that one, I'm gonna let you guys try that one for a second. I'll sit here and check my phone for a minute. You guys can try to figure that one out. All right. Yeah, we could have done that. Did diff. That would have been good. All right. So, where do we set limits? There's a file that we use to set limits in a system. All right, so there's a file in here that will set limits. There's no limits set currently. Nothing in here. These are all commented. Everything's commented out, so it's all default. You can check limits of things, ulimit-a, and I can see the limits. I can also check the ulimits for a user, for a particular, I think it's cap u. It might be wrong. Nope, maybe it's lowercase u. There you go. And I can see it for a user, for a particular user. So we can kind of dig in if we want to, right? We can do all these things. But the thing here is this AppAdmin. So let's see if AppAdmin exists. Yeah, AppAdmin's there. We can see it there. Okay, so that's cool. He created that. I see a user ID for it, and I see a name, so that's all cool. But it says that user is AppAdmin, and only them can create a file of any size. So I see here that there's some file size, which is currently set to unlimited, but we don't want bblurski to be able to do that as unlimited as well. So, so let's go with, let's VI that file. Let's go make some changes, right? By the way, I almost always say that you should copy your stuff. Etsy security limits .conf .backtick date plus %f, or you could do .orig. Some people like .orig because it is the original, right? Anything like that. I mean, it's copy. It's next to free, so whatever. We'll VI Etsy security limits.conf. And if we shift G, there's nothing even being used in here. There's actually nothing nothing that's being added here. So we can come down here and we have a file size maximum, and we can say, so the user would be app admin, and his you don't really need all the spaces, but I like to make sure things line up. We can give them the soft and the hard. Where are we at here? We got to give the type first. So the type will be, yeah, soft, and it doesn't really matter. Sometimes we'll just do an asterisk there, and then the item will be the n. Sorry, the item will be up here. F size, maximum file size. All right. Oh, you could use .old too. .old's fine. And then the file size can be in kilobytes, and those are capital B, so they're bytes. And the maximum file size can be 15 or 1.5 million, right? Kilobytes could be, yeah, they want gigs, so there. But it actually says that theirs can be any. Actually, I think this is a dash. I haven't done this in a while, but I'm pretty sure that's a dash. There we go, escape : WQ. But when we do this, there's a problem here. This is just, and it kind of bugs me, but we need to get rid of bblurski and set him at something like 1,000 or something. And that's just because of the there we go. And that's just because of something in the check. I'm not sure exactly why he chose to check it like that, but so our thing failed. App admin. Oh, did I spell that wrong? What did I say? App. Say app armor. App admin. F size is any. Let them allow to create a file of any size. Their users app admin. bblurski. Maybe we'll make that hard. So then we say ulimit -a for u app admin, and we should see that they are unlimited on their file size. But then bblurski he's also unlimited on his file size. See, we got to fix that. This won't go forward until his isn't. bblurski hard f size. Maybe we need to do anybody. Oh, damn it. Alright, try that. Oh, and also, I think we have to exit and reconnect. Because for some reason, this one is one of those ones I think that has to reread. Oh, he's definitely got file size unlimited. They both still do. That's not good. Anybody else? F size. Values unlimited. Should still be F size. That's definitely in kilobytes. We can do, you know what, we can do it both ways. I think when I did this both ways. It doesn't really matter. You shouldn't have to add all this, but you limit, he's unlimited. B Blurski should not be unlimited. Exit, reconnect. Yeah, he should not be unlimited. App admin should be. Let's make sure we're at securitylimits.conf. Literally none of those things should matter. Hard soft for F size. And again, it shouldn't have to be hard and soft. Hard should just work. And then no, pound signs are commented out, so they're not even used. Any of these comments are just not even used. They're just examples. So none of those are part of the config. So I mean, no, I mean, you shouldn't need an @ sign because it, I mean, it shouldn't. And then this really should be any, right? Like any here is anyone else. But for some reason, I mean, app admin's still unlimited and B Blurski's still unlimited, so yeah. This one's always giving me problems. We could try an @ B Blurski, I just don't. I don't think that should matter. Yeah, his file size is still unlimited. No, he's in his regular group. He doesn't have any secondary groups down here. So, but even with that, we should have blocked his group. Let's real quick, let's exit again and reconnect. He's still unlimited. So weird. I mean, they're unlimited too. Let's just put anybody else. Let's do this. Y2YP. And then just change this to that and that to that as well. He's still got unlimited file size. Let me go look over here real quick. Let's check, hold on. F size should do file size. Nah, you don't have to reboot for this one. No, we should just be able to leave and reconnect. But even then... No. I've set this before in this lab. The way he checks this lab, I've only gotten this to ever finish once. But I've definitely finished this before. So... I don't know why. It's something in what he's looking for in his actual checks. And it might just be that he's looking for this. Let's check. Only the app admin user. But I'm telling you, I've done this all the ways I know. And the only thing that actually got this to work was when I explicitly said B Blurski could not work. When I took B Blurski out like this hard, that was the only way this ever worked. But it shouldn't be at. That still shouldn't be at. Neither, and technically, neither should that. Yeah. Yeah, this one, the way it checks doesn't... Because any of those would limit it. That would limit it. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it should be reading off of that one. And we should just be able to check the U limits anytime. Size, that's the maximum file size in kilobytes. Unless... Even that's... I don't think that should matter either. But that's the correct size to be 1 gig. Yeah, I don't know why this isn't setting it, but that's definitely... Let's tab separate them, just to make sure it's not something stupid like that. It shouldn't be though, but we'll tab separate them. So there's definitely a tab in there to read. That, of course, shouldn't matter, but that's still what we're gonna do. Just for fun. We've done everything else I can think. And for some reason it's still, I mean, it's still not reading the value, so I don't know why. Again, that doesn't even look right, but Beblerski still has unlimited. And he should not. Oops. No, we're definitely setting the file right, so I don't know. That's unlimited. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that one. All right, so let's just go to his we'll go to his last one. That's kind of fun. I don't know why his are like that. I've asked him to fix that, but maybe he hasn't had time. So that one's not checking the something. So let's go here. Where's his scenarios? Let's do his LLM. Oh, we could have checked it. It doesn't matter that much, though. I mean, for some reason, that file was not being read. I don't know why. I don't know what was going on with it, but we were definitely setting those the correct way. Let's go play with this one a little bit. This one's kind of fun. This is a local LLM. So if you've never ran your own little large language model, you guys can actually run them in the systems here. So if you want to do that, you can hop in here and do it with us. So first one is we're going to go get the Olama. And we're going to let it run in our environment. And maybe while that runs, I'm going to grab a drink. Give me a second to go grab my water. All right. That's going to download and install. Sending, it was number 3. And it was the one with the U limits. It wouldn't take the U limit settings. We were doing U limit -A and it just wasn't reading them. So I don't know. And I've gotten that before where I had to do something on that one with B Blurski for it to read. So I never bothered to go look at. He said they're open up in his somewhere. In his if you go to his GitHub, they're open, but yeah, it's his lab 3. All right, hold on, let me pop back on here. All right, so I'm getting this thing built. I'm going to also, we're going to look at this command that we did here in a second. I'll show you guys something fun. So you can run this. Manuel Carrizo. I probably go live. I try to go about once a day, but probably about 4 or 5 times a week. The best way for most people to get a hold of me, though, is down in our Discord. That's typically where most of the stuff's popping. We got about 3,200 people down there now. I think I need to update my little ticker down there. We're up to like 3,200 people, so almost 3,200 anyways. So it's getting there. Let me show you guys this real quick then. So we built that, and we've got a API that we can hit. But before we go there, we can also look at this script. And we see that we were going to run the installer directly, but we can also just do, I think, a -O, maybe -O, and just drop that into temp install.sh, right? And if we more temp install.sh, we'll see what this thing was going to do. And what it was going to do was it was going to go set some values. It's going to come down here and it's going to set some other values, right? And by the way, it's calling, these are calling actual functions that are being defined later. Let's go down here and we see that it sets up the architecture, and it says if the architecture, when they do a uname-m, is x86-64, it'll set this value, or if it's this or this, they'll set this value, and any other thing, it'll just say error, unsupported architecture, arch. Then it comes down here and makes sure that WSL2 is false. It sets that equal to false, and then it's going to set it to true if it finds WSL2 or anything with a lowercase WSL2. But if it's got WSL1, just Microsoft in there, then it's going to set it and say, I can't do this. Yeah, Control Byte. There's a third one. It's not really new. He probably made it a few months ago, but I've only passed that part of it one time, and I thought I remembered how to do it, but apparently I don't. There's something in there that's stopping it from something in the check that doesn't let that move forward, and something I remember I had to put B Blurski in there to be able to get that to move forward. So I don't know. But anyways, this is what the script is doing. We can go look. It's not doing anything magical. It's just going to download. All this did was download and install this Ollama package. So we say, okay, we got that. And now that we've got it, we can go and say, Ollama, run Tiny Llama, which is the smallest little language model that we can get. Tiny Llama. Whoops. Tiny Llama. You gotta spell llama right. L-L-A-M-A. Oh, my bad. Now it's going to pull the manifest for that. And this is pretty much the smallest one that you can do that will run on these machines. This is like bare bones little LLM that can just answer some simple little questions. So once that's running, I can start to ask it questions. I can say, why is the sky blue? And it'll tell me why the sky is blue if it knows. Anybody here know why the sky is blue? Why is the sky blue? I don't think this thing knows why the sky is blue. Some people think it's a rich purple. Okay. Blue-green light emitted by the Earth's Rayleigh scale. Maybe. But does anybody really know why the sky is blue? There's a very specific reason why the sky is blue, guys. Alright, I'll tell you guys here in a minute. Let's let this thing try to... It's giving us a lot of answer back, isn't it? I don't know if it's ever going to stop. Alright, we can hit Control D, and that'll stop it, and that's good. And then now, we can curl. We can actually throw questions against that through curl commands, right? So, if we had some kind of Python or other tool that could run this. No, that's close. Reflection of water is close. Nope, I'm looking for something very specific. Anybody here U.S. military? Anybody here know why the sky is blue? Why is the sky blue? Alright, so now this will question why the sky is blue, and it'll give us each individual answer in a kind of open-ended, and it's going to run, and then we can hit Control-C to stop it. And what we can do is we can modify that and say stream. So right at the end here, we can give a comma. Right here. Oh, actually, we don't. We do need a comma after this one. Stream is equal to false. And if we give this, it'll hold everything in memory and give us one answer back. That's exactly right, Control Byte. It's because God loves the infantry. That's exactly why the sky is blue. Nope, sky's blue because God loves the infantry. So, if any of you don't remember that, I was an infantryman. So, yep, that's why the sky's blue, because God loves the infantry. It's an old U.S. Army joke. Anyways, this is going to sit there and it's going to gather everything up before it sends me a response back. So this was like an active listening for each word, and this is kind of gathering it all up and coming back. This could be said to be a synchronous call, and this could be said to be an asynchronous call. Actually, I take that back. Take that back. That's messed up. An asynchronous call is where we send something and we don't wait for it to come back. This was a synchronous call. It waited the entire time. So sometimes when you're making calls and you're building stuff, you need to think about how things happen. This took 53 seconds to run. And if that's really true, is that an acceptable time for your program to wait? Or does your thing need to go on and then get that value back when it comes back? And that's the difference between a synchronous and an asynchronous call. In a synchronous call, we wait. Like I call you and I wait for you to answer, and then you say hello and I say hello. That's a synchronous call, right? We're talking. An asynchronous call is, hey, I'm sending you this email and I'm going to lunch, and if you show up, then, cool. And then I send that and I go, right? That's the difference between the types of calls, right? Well, there's also a thing that we did. If any of you guys jump in our Discord, I haven't even looked at this in a while, but I know it'll still work. And you go up here. When I did this lab for the first time before, I wrote some Ansible code for. We have other Ansible code that we've written up there, some backup stuff that I wrote recently, and we can go up here and we can find this API call. There's some other people writing. There's all kinds of stuff up here, but I'm pretty sure I wrote one. That was a Radix deploy. That's a tool. I wrote one. Nope, further back up. I could look for it, but just want to show you guys there's some good stuff up in the Discord for people that want it. Yeah, here. So I'm going to make a root API.yaml real quick. Wait, is this the right one? No. Where did I write? I'm going to have to search this. Because I don't remember where I wrote this. I thought it was... here. Here's the Olama. Yeah, cat Olama reader. So here is the Olama reader. It's right here. I'm going to vi Olama reader dot YAML. YML or YAML, doesn't really matter. And then I'm going to drop that in there, Control-Shift-V. And look at what's going to happen. We're going to use Ansible, so we got to put Ansible on here. And we're going to use gatherFacts true so our system can know its information. And I'm going to call over to our local host, API generate. We're going to use the URI module to generate a URL. And in the body, we're going to post, and we're going to say, what is the origin of Ansible? Then we're going to sit there, and we're going to wait. See, stream is equal to false. We're going to give it a timeout of 90. It took 50 seconds earlier, so 90 should be good. Body format's going to be JSON. We're going to register Olama, and then we're going to look at the response that comes out. Okay? This is in the Discord. If anybody wants it, you can run it against this little reader. We have to app-y install Ansible to get Ansible on the box real quick so I can drink some more water. And then we're going to run that playbook. And then, hey, sending. You guys are only at 6 something right now, right? You guys are an hour. Yeah, you guys are like an hour earlier than us now, or an hour later than us now. Yeah, because Phoenix didn't. Arizona doesn't move, so you guys all slid over. Yeah, 6:18. We're at 7:18. So. And my wife is not feeling well, so she's in there sleeping. She laid down at like 6 o'clock. She came home and she sprayed some of this like antiseptic stuff in her mouth, and then like I gave her some. I put a bunch of blankets on her because she's not feverish, but she was really cold. So then she was drinking cold water. I'll bring her some water here in a minute too. But anyways, let's run this. So ls Ansible playbook Olama reader, and this is gonna run this playbook. You guys, I would grab it for you, but it's just here in the Discord. Here it is right here. It was on 3/24, so 8 months ago or so. I wrote that when he did that, so that anybody that wanted to run Ansible against an API could do that. To maybe you wanted to have Ansible tell people jokes while they were waiting for something to happen. You could have this go do that if you wanted. Like have it tell me a joke or whatever. In this case, it's going to tell us the origin of Ansible if it can. And it's also going to wrap it in, it's going to be wrapped in JSON so we can do a bunch of stuff. We can look at it. We can kind of take that apart if we want to. We could use any part of the variables we want. Once we have the variables, we can use any part we want, which is super nice, super convenient. But if you just needed to run a tiny llama, in an Olama system, you could set this up. And the main reason that I think this is nice is, let's say you were building, some of you guys have seen the costs of like LLMs to hit them. And let's say you were going to like generate you were going to test a whole bunch of requests and responses with a tool. And instead of spending a bunch of money sending it out to the world and talking that way, you could use a little basic one like this and just at least test your API calls against it. And then when you're ready, when your tool's ready for what you want, then you point it at one of these more mature tools or one of these other systems. So anyways, Ansible is known for Ansible, or Anycast as Ansible, open source automation tool designed for managing IT infrastructure, date back to at least 2003 when it was OSI. I don't know if that's completely accurate. I think this thing makes stuff up sometimes. Since its release in 2005, I don't know if any of this stuff's accurate, because I'm pretty sure Ansible was created later than that. But there we go. The point is, we can hit that and see information coming back. And this is just the Olama JSON response. This is just the response portion. I can look at that whole right? We can fix this playbook, and we can come down here and we can debug the whole thing. $$ will delete that. Let's do the same thing and look at the whole value. Hey, Robodom, how's it going? We're just kind of hanging out today. We're not working too hard. But Robodom's telling you guys how to watch us on YouTube. That's where all my VODs are now. Twitch is kind of, the VODs go away after so many days anyways for me, so I might as well just throw them over on YouTube. So if anybody wants to watch stuff later, go check it out on YouTube. It's just easier. So I think it's easier to just focus on one spot. All right. This is going to tell us how long it took. This is going to tell us all kinds of other things. Yeah, it's a good place, yeah, to have all that stuff. And then Robodom, I've been telling everybody, like, the best place to kind of hang out with other engineers and stuff is down our Discord. So Hudson Wessel, you said, what's the Linux Systems Administrator course? So the course is a 16-week course that we've been running through for teaching people about getting into Linux Systems Administration. And we're in week 8 right now. We're going to be in week 9 on Saturday. So we go from Saturday to Saturday, basically. It is, oh, here, hold on. So look at all these other values here. Look at all these other things. I can know how long it took. Here's all the individual whatevers. But it was created at this time. It took this long. Yeah, we have some information about it. And then we see the information, and then we see that we got a status 200. So we might only want to show this to somebody if we got a status 200. But here's some other information. Ansible Tower, which was initiated by, oh man, they're just making stuff up, I think. But the point is, it's getting us some kind of information, right? And then we see the URL and transfer encoding was chunked. Okay, good. Good information. But this is more information than we might have wanted. Anyways, yeah, the Linux Systems Administration course. If you guys hop in here, if you go on our Discord and then you go down to projects, you'll find all the information you need for the course. There's a lot. There's a whole lot. And then there's videos. If you go to Beginner Start here, I've got a video course. I've recorded each one of them after the fact. We meet live on Saturdays and talk through it all. But if you go there to the course and then you just start hammering through, you can go watch all the old content or whatever to catch up. There is going to be a, for lack of better description, I guess a prize for people finishing it. There's going to be a little certificate given out that's only going to be given out to people that finish it. And what else are we going to do? We're going to do, oh, it's going to have a validation mark on it. So when you actually scan the QR code, it'll validate for you that it's yours. So that'll be good. And there's not going to be very many of them given out because people that have gone through and done all the discussions and all the labs and they're going to do the project and all these other things that are in there. I mean, it's like 8+ hours of work a week. So it's probably about 64 hours so far to catch back up. So lots of work. I tell everybody I'm not selling easy here. It's all hard work, right? But if you do it, you'll learn a lot about being a systems administrator and what it takes and the kind of troubleshooting you have to do and that kind of stuff. So that's what the course is. All right. So this one's all done, and then we hit check, and it says, look at you learning Olama. And you were able to create Olama, build a little tiny llama, and then you can ask it questions that may or may not be correct. We can make this better. We can go to the Olama reader here, and in the body right here, this is the body. I'm saying, what is the origin of Ansible? I might have a little bit of a hard time just because of how this is set up. I was going to set a variable right here, but I don't know if I'll be able to do a variable inside of this because that's single quotes, but that's fine. But we could ask, anyways, the point is we could ask it different questions here. Who is Batman? Right? I don't know. Acklocked 21. I just spent 2 days on a problem, only realized I misunderstood that somehow. I convinced myself I understood the wrong solution. Do you have any advice on keeping a positive mind in programming? I mean, I don't program, so I don't know if I could help you necessarily with that, but I would just tell you sometimes you got to stand back and like look at the problem. And I know some of my guys that do code, I have plenty of friends that are professional coders on here, And those guys are all, they're big fans of like this kind of stuff. See, my son broke the feet off this poor little guy. But they're big fans of like telling your problem to a stuffed animal, or talking to your little Tux penguin and being like, hey, you know, I'm trying to do this and I'm trying to make sure that I loop the same. Oh, shoot. Why am I looping? You know, like that kind of stuff. And a lot of people will, I've actually seen help desks do this. Yeah, it's the rubber duck technique. I've heard of help desks doing this, where they'll just have a stuffed bear there and they'll say, before you ask us this thing, explain it to the bear. And you have to explain it to the little bear, like what your actual problem is, before a person will talk to you. Because the thing is, a lot of times people don't even realize that, like, they were just holding on to the can, which is this. Hey, Homer, are you just holding on to the can? Your point being, like, you were holding on to the wrong thing sometimes, you know? If you guys have never seen that Simpsons episode, that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's Homer is reaching into these two, you know, things, and his arms are stuck like 6 hours later, and they can't get his hands out, and they're like that guy's about to cut his arms off. And he goes, this is going to hurt a lot. And he's like, but they're going to grow back, right? And the guy's like, well, yeah. And somebody says, well, wait a minute, Homer. Are you just holding on to the cans? And he goes, your point being. And then the next scene is him walking away, and everybody's laughing, and he's like rubbing his arms, and he runs away real fast. So, yeah. Yeah, sometimes you just need to bounce something off of somebody. I know a lot of engineers who they love pair programming, because when somebody else looks over your shoulders, they're like, why are you doing it that way? And then you're like, oh, shoot, yeah, I didn't even think. I have all these other techniques that would have been better. And then, yeah. I think that, something about speaking things out loud, I think, helps people. And I tell you guys all the time, you might not believe me, but when I watch other engineers, I don't care what, like, as long as they're doing something at the command line, I pick up techniques all the time, even if they're new, even if they've never done anything professionally before. I'm just like, well, why'd you do that way? And they're like, oh, well, I saw somebody do it. And I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Or they picked up a technique somewhere that I've missed. That happens, right? There's so many things out there. I used to sit, when I worked on the NOAA project, me and the engineers would sit around and we'd work on stuff, and we'd be like, whoa, what is that? And then, you know, there was all kinds of cool stuff that we ended up running into, and I showed people stuff and they showed me stuff, and it made us both the better. So, yeah, it's so useful. So, sending, we're trying to get you to stream a little more. I've been telling the guys about some of your, paired programming. It's good. I mean, it also instills a certain amount of confidence, because, like, sometimes I feel like engineers lack confidence because they've done everything in a closet for 20 years, and they're like, oh, somebody's going to think I'm stupid. Who cares? I'll just work with somebody. And you'll find that over time, you end up getting a lot better working with other people. I really do think that. So I think one of the best things to happen to engineers, especially engineers like myself, was we could have just kept writing our scripts and kept them down in root, and nobody would ever see them, and they would just think we were casting fireball spells. That would be it. But when we started being pushed over into DevOps and having to push our code up into like code bases and stuff like that, and we had to learn how to use Git, and we're like, Git. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, our stuff got better. Like my Ansible coding's way better than it was when I started 11 years ago using it, right? I never showed that shit to anybody. I would just do it and use a lot of ad hoc commands and that kind of stuff. So I think, anyways, that's my thoughts on it. Would just be work with people on stuff. Like, find somebody that you could do that for and work with. So, all right, so we did that lab. Where else are we at? How's Ranger doing? Look at that dog down there. My dog Ranger. All right, where are we at? Man, we're at an hour and a half. I can't believe it's been that long. All right, so this is the next week. So for Unit 9 we're in Docker. Oh wow. I gotta set some lab stuff up for you guys in a couple things. So let's go check some stuff in the home lab. I forgot about this. Werewolf home, Rocky. Okay, let's check some stuff out. We need to make sure that Docker is on the image. So container list. So the default container list for my systems right now is wwctl node list -a grep -i container. So we'll look at all of them. It's all Rocky 9, right? So we're going to go to Control Shift R or Control R and look for Rocky Linux 9, and this is how we exec into that container. Boom. And we're going to do a what provides DNF, what provides Docker, and we'll probably put Packer on there too. King Subaki said, "Do I have to be online to work on SSH?" I don't know. No, you could do SSH. You can connect to a box over itself, like SSH. You can SSH to 127.0.0.1 in a box. Yeah, you can connect to yourself if you want. You were testing a new model Llama 3.2 Vision on Ollama, and it describes the JPEG in detail. That's pretty cool. Most. That's kind of actually. So I've thought about making like a little, just something that keeps track of maybe kind of like how Nightbot does in my environment, and when somebody does like an exclamation mark command or something like that, have it just send over something over to a little Ollama that we run, and then just have it like generate an image or do something fun like that. I think that would be kind of cool. Anyway, so look, this thing says Podman Docker eliminates or emulates Docker CLI using Podman. All right. So what provides Docker? How about this one? What provides Podman? So it looks like Podman's what's on here, really. So let's do that. So DNF install Podman. Let's see what dependencies we need. This is kind of a thing, like in a home lab, a lot of times we don't spend a lot of time like sitting around thinking about what we're doing. But look, the Podman that I need is only 16 megs. But all of its little buddies coming along are 60 more megs. There's 60 more megs right here, right? Because it's 76 total megs. So I'm gonna say, okay, yeah, we'll put that in this image. Some of you guys were here the other day. I split this image off of the old image to update it. But if I needed to, I could roll back to my old image. I didn't clean up the old image yet, so I have a working image. If this, let's say this broke everything on this image, I could roll back. I could roll back and go off of that. So anyway, so let's test this. Let's put this in, make sure that the system can come up and start. Then we'll test it on one node. We'll reboot one node and make sure it's like we want, and then we'll roll all our nodes in the cluster to it, right? So what do? Once we have a successful build, we can say echo $? Which shows that it was exit 0, which by the way means this next one is exited 0. But when we exit, it'll build our container for us. So that container has rebuilt. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to go find one of the nodes in our cluster that's not being used. I was using Rocky 10 earlier, and we'll reboot it, and we'll make sure it's coming up with Podman on it. If it has Podman, then we'll try to do a little Podman build real quick, make sure that we can build a little Docker file, and then we'll go from there. So I gotta go grab my Docker file real quick, which is over here. Where did I have that thing? Over here. Not Kafka stuff. Not even. It was Kubernetes though. Assets. Simple little Docker file that I have. We will just do this part because we don't have. I'm not going to pull all these things down for this. All right. SH2 Rocky 10. Let's make sure nobody's in it. Yep. Reboot Rocky 10. Rocky 10 is going to come back up over here in our environment, so we'll go watch him boot. Make sure, well, we know that he comes up correctly, but we're going to watch him anyways because that's fun. For people that haven't ever seen a system boot, he's going to come up, he's going to do a DHCP to make sure that he knows who he is. Werewolf is going to respond, give him a TFTP server to go to, which is also itself. It's going to pull down and it's going to bring down a kernel and an init RAM FS. It's going to open that all up as little tarballs and run it, and then it's going to build. So we're going to see it all happen right here. It's Rocky 10. Remember, the node is coming up with no hard drive, so the hard drive is failure, not bootable. So it's going to go to an iPXE boot. It's going to realize he's Rocky 10 based on his MAC address, right? There he is with the Rocky 9 lab that we just rebuilt. That's the container we just rebuilt over here. It's going to come up. It's got the kernel. It's got his init RAM FS. once that starts up, we'll see it come up and we'll be able to boot over here, or we'll be able to go back into Rocky 10. And then I'm going to make sure that I can do Podman stuff in there, because that's what I need people to do this week. I need people to be able to build pods in the lab, right? That's my next part. So Docker is going to be, we're going to do Docker this week, and we're going to build some stuff. And then next week we'll take those things that we built and we'll put them into. Oh, I gotta do K3s. I gotta figure out that crap. Oh man, lots to do. I've never set up K3s, but I've seen it set up. It's pretty simple. So we're gonna have a whole bunch of Kubernetes running in the environment as K3s. All right. So hold on. He's almost back up. He's got to do two things still. He's got to finish this, and then he's got to run his overlays, which you'll see all the overlays actually run. And then when the overlays are run as part of his end of his boot, then he will start. So here's all his overlays running, and then we go. I thought, and I was telling the wife about this, I think I might do a very special, when we're all done with the Linux course at the end of December, I might take a little bit of a break, and then I'll come back to, I might run just specifically a Werewolf course that shows you guys how to build Werewolf in a lab and how to run it. And then I'll have a limited number of labs in the environment that you guys can use. The only way I can think to do that fairly, because I'm going to have only so much resources to do it on, is I'll probably just take the people who finished the Linux Systems Administration course and have them do it. So that's kind of my thing. So, all right. We're going to let that boot real quick. I'm going to take a real quick, what's going on here? Do I not have my system right? Hold on. There we go. Let me take a real quick break. I'm going to put my little hourglass up. Go check on the wife, see if she needs any water. And we're going to take a 8-minute break. We'll let that node see it's calling its SBIN in it, and it should start right now. All right, taking a quick break. I'll be back. Alright, Rope Dom's in charge till I get back. We'll take the wife some water. I said I'm gonna take the wife some water. Wife's still got a really sore throat. I gave her some cold water and I'm a total hero now. Yeah, hydrated wife. She's happy. She's happy. I'm totally a hero now. Alright. Did our node boot? This is the question, guys. Always. Did our node boot and did what we do to it work? We'll take the break. We'll finish the break off because maybe somebody walked away for a little bit and I don't want to be that guy that doesn't give you a little... I give you guys the full time to come back. That's what we're doing right now, just hanging out, full time to come back. So if you got questions, let me know. Earlier I was putting stuff, like any questions somebody asked me, I just started dropping them right here into, you know, as I was co-working, like what was I working on and what was I doing. And I think that was working for people. I think people liked kind of as we were talking through things. So I'll try to keep doing that going forward. Like make sure that you guys know that we've got stuff for you guys to work on and that kind of stuff. All right, so now that node's up. We're gonna go hit it, but we got to check something on it as soon as we get there. So we're gonna let's wait. We'll wait till the end of our break. I don't want to shortchange anybody that took a long break and comes back and we're already going. So I guess just let me know if you guys did anything cool today. Let me know if you guys are working on anything cool. I am mostly training. So I wrote all that training for that customer, but then I'm also internally training some of our guys. And I'm obviously training a bunch of you guys in Linux systems administration. I'm going to start working on, so some of the guys asked for a Linux systems engineering course. And I might, so systems administration and systems engineering are two different things when you really spend time and dig in. Some companies don't make that distinction, but we do around here because systems administration tends to be a certain set of tasks and then engineering is another one. And I was going to do an engineering one after as well. Oh, lots of interviews and phone screens. Sending, you know, I haven't done an interview in probably like a month. And I'm probably up to about 350, but I feel like you're catching up to me. I don't know if you've been over 350 already, but I thought you were a little behind me, but I think I'm at about 350 total, but I haven't done any really in the last little while, so I'm probably kind of falling behind a little bit. We should do a thing one of these days where we have you guys come and sit with us for interviews. I think that would be fun for you guys. Well, for people that want to get into the field, I think that would be fun. Maybe we'll do that on one of our Linux meetings one of these days. But yeah, and sending, I don't know if you heard, but like something happened to this. So something happened in here. So it's pretty much done right here. And it happened when I was in Hawaii. I looked at it on my phone and it went to 0. But we had 208 people interested in this. And then it got deleted and it hupped. It like died and came back or something. But whatever happened, like we have a log. I can go look through the log. Nobody deleted it. None of the admins, none of the mods. Something just wiped this thing, made it back like this. I didn't have to remake anything. Something just broke this. So then when sending went on Saturday, last Saturday, he went to talk to you guys. There was nobody in there, so it didn't alert anybody. So nobody showed up. So I don't know if any of you guys know that, but sending was going to talk to you guys about scripting, but we'll have to reschedule it. Okay, anyway, so our timer's up. We're in Rocky 10 now. Do I have Podman? I have the command Podman. All right, so I'm just on this box. Let's clear PWD. I'm going to make a directory called container, cd to container, and let's just say I wanted to make Docker file, right? And in my Docker file, I'm going to go steal, very shamefully, from myself, this Python 3.9 Alpine. Now, I updated this the other day in my home lab. Some of you guys were around watching me. I updated this, and now I'm running a newer version of, I think I'm Python 3.12. And then in my home lab, I'm running that for a Flask application that I'm writing, right? Some of you guys knew that I was doing that. Oh, some of you guys talked a little bit. Nice, nice. Boom. So I'm going to pull this up here. Let's go over here, clean this up. It doesn't actually matter if it's indented, but that bugs me a little bit, so I'm going to clean it up this way. All right, escape :WQ. Now, some of you might go, well, that's not going to do anything but pull that down. It'll prove that Podman works. It'll work. It'll prove that. So if I do a Podman and then Docker build my Docker file, there must be... dot Docker file, right? What am I missing here? Hold on. What am I? I gotta be missing something here. What's wrong with me? I must be. Error context must be directory. Oh, what am I missing here? Let's go look here. I always miss something. Let's go look at my commands. Docker build -t. Yeah, there it is. -t Flask. In that case, it's -t build -t from here. And I don't need Docker file. I just need it to be there. -t will be Python, right? Let's just call it Python. It doesn't really matter. Lowercase, whatever. Boom. There we go. All right, so it's going to pull that down to my local machine. And then if I do Podman images, that thing that I just built is going to be there. It wasn't there before. That Python that I just made and pulled down, that wasn't there before. Okay? But now we have that. And we have the generic one, and then we have the one that we just tagged. Actually, hold on. Yeah. So... yeah, we created that and then we tagged those back. Okay, so now that's nothing, right? That's literally nothing. But I'm gonna make you guys in the lab go and do that on each of these nodes now, and then I'm gonna make you pull down and build some different things into that Docker image, and then you can run it, right? So, let's see. I don't know if. We got Podman on there. Yeah, we don't have anything running. We should have a container image, so we should be able to Podman run one of just a simple one of these, and we should just be able to call it by name. It should be here. Yeah. Oh, we're getting some kind of error. That's not that big a deal. I'm okay with that. Do I have a trace on here? Yeah, okay. I'm not actually running anything inside that pod, so it's basically just going to like call a Python shell and then go away. But I can at least see, as long as it didn't error. Yeah, it didn't error. It didn't error in the command. The command exited with a 0. And then, so I'll show you guys how to build some stuff into there. We're not really going to do too much with that. But that's what I want in my environment. So I'm going to exit back to here. That's only on one node now, right? So like if I went to all of this here and did a Podman images is going to fail on all but one, right? Podman image. This will fail right away. Because Podman's not on any of those, right? But on the one, oh, it's images. But on the one, it'll work because that's because it's there. So now let's set all of our nodes. Let's just reboot them all. So the easiest way to reboot them actually isn't with this. I wish it was, but it is not. Easiest way, well, we could do this. We can go like this. We'll do a reboot ampersand. That's fine. Should go pretty quick and should fail immediately, but that's because all the nodes are rebooting. So now we'll give them a little bit of time. In fact, we'll see Rocky 10 here reboot. We're going to see every node in my cluster reboot right here. All of them, Rocky 1 through 19. And they're all the containers. Well, they're not even containers. They're full images, but we'll watch 19 here. And then we'll go and we'll watch Podman images. Now, they'll all just be a bunch of empty repositories. Oh, that hurt my shoulders. I've been wrestling every day, so my back has been hurting. All right, so this is what we're doing here. We're gonna check our image, make sure. So our container image of Rocky 9.4, but tied to that date when I last updated it. We've put some more packages on it for now, and the packages are going to help us to ensure that we can answer these. So let's say typically I've been trying to do 2 different posts, and the one post will be about the technology or about the topic, so you got to go look some stuff up and then make a post about it, and then the other one is some kind of case study, typically to kind of troubleshoot it. Now that's not like a hard fast rule for me, but that's something I've been trying to do kind of in my discussion. So I got to write the discussions. I'll do it all tomorrow. I'm kind of being lazy right now, but let's watch this node. So all the nodes are booting, but they're booting kind of slow. So they're all pulling the Rocky. By the way, we could be here going bang. So bang tail. Huh. So this will give us tail-f, and we'll see all of them pulling their. We'll see all of the Rocky images right here. Oh wait, am I not on? I'm sorry, guys. I thought I was. I don't know what I did. Oh, because I did. Very disappointed in myself. Anyways, there we go. This is why I always tell you guys we can watch the cluster operations right here. We can just sit here and watch, like, as our environment kind of pulls and does it. No, Robodom, I meant to do shit. I don't know. I don't do anything on purpose. And then I look down and see that I'm not up, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter that much. As long as you guys can read my voice, it's not that big a deal. Tomorrow we are. You got off work early, nice. We're rebooting the environment right now, and then we're gonna check to make sure that everything, all of our images come up correctly. That's important. And then we're going to do a Podman images to make sure that pods are available to be run on all the nodes. And then actually, really, you know what? I'm going to run a basic little Podman to make sure that I can run an image on a node. And then, yeah, and then for this next week, you guys are going to just be building. I have to make a whole new lab. I don't even have a lab for this week or next week. I have to make the labs. So that might be what tomorrow is when I'm streaming. I got to work tomorrow, and then I got to do that stuff. So that'll be kind of the goal here. So, all right. Yep. You get gearing up for your RHCE, nice. Get everything you can your hands on for Ansible, nice. Tomorrow you did all our Ansible stuff long ago, right? You did all that. I think all you got to do is just keep working on stuff. There's probably some good Ansible stuff out there. So, yeah. Yeah, if you get a chance tomorrow, I don't know if you want to tag him, but M-Pesa down in our Discord, ask him about his. His was a while ago, but he got a perfect score. So he's a pretty good. He got a perfect score on his RHCSA and his RHCE. So he's a good one to ask about that stuff. I know some of our guys have passed it, but he passed them both with a perfect score. Yeah. Yeah, and then he did the other 7 or 8 or whatever it takes after that to be an RHCSA or an RHCA, which is a Red Hat Certified Architect. So he's a Red Hat Certified Architect on infrastructure. Yeah, if you guys didn't know that. Yeah, he got a perfect score on both of those. Then he told me, he's like, I didn't get a perfect score on the other ones. And I'm like, yeah, what'd you get, like a 97? He's like, well, I passed. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. Yeah. He's a good one to hit up about it, because he'll tell you all the Ansible stuff. He'll tell you, because my understanding is it's all Ansible, so you just got to know how to read your Ansible docs and reference things. Know as much as you can, but know how to reference it, because you don't have me. I do stuff slow. My stuff's slow, but it always works. I will go out and I'll look at a web page and I'll figure out, like, I go look at the reference docs online, but you can't do that in that. You actually have to use the Ansible-doc-s. And I'm okay with that, but I probably wouldn't do that as fast as if I do the other stuff, right? So, look, it's sending all the init RAM FS to the nodes. Some of you guys saw when I rebuilt this the other day, I had to rebuild the Dracket because it was now a new kernel, and the Dracket image was pointing at the old kernel, and it had to be rebuilt. So that can cause a problem right here. But now we're good again. So these are going to all pull and come down. And then when they're all done, we'll be able to see. Like, we could really watch this when they start all rolling through the runtimes. Then that means that they're in a running config and they're going through. Thought I heard the wife up and about, and she's definitely not feeling well, so I don't think she's up and about. Yeah, she's good. She's good. 2 playbooks ad hoc, both the enterprise stuff is new to me. Okay. Yeah, definitely check on some of that. All right. You guys want to hear something funny? I think some of you will think this is funny. I've been doing Linux for 20-something years, 21 at least. And I was telling you, professionally, but I was telling you guys that, like, when I do something with other people around, I always learn something. Well, this last week, when a week and a half ago when I was in Hawaii, I was doing this, and I was like, oh yeah, it's super annoying. I don't want to see the runtime overlays. And one of the guys was like, you can just grep on that? And I said, I did not know you could grep on this, because it's interactive, so I didn't know you could grep. So if you grep -vi for runtime, like, I don't want to see any runtime overlays show up, but I want to see everything else. I didn't know you could do that interactively. And because one of the guys was watching me do it, he's like, oh yeah, you can grep right there. And I'm like, I never thought to do that. Because when things are interactive, I didn't know you could pipe. You can. You could use that, and then now none of the runtimes will show up, so I'll know when all my nodes are done booting right here in the Werewolf log. Because the only thing that shows up in the Werewolf log when a cluster is fully booted are the runtime overlays. And the runtime overlays are every time that the WW client on each node checks in to get its runtime overlay. That's the only time it shows up. So yeah, I would have never. I went to pick that up. Hey Robodom, when you changed your name to Robodom _, what was your thing? Was it like 711 before? What was your Robodom number? What was it? I forget what it was. You had some number after there, didn't you? 711. Yeah. Okay. It wasn't. It wasn't 911. Okay. Yeah, and remember, guys, the numbers mean nothing. Yeah, but it always made us wonder what happened to the Robodom 710 that came before you. That makes us always wonder what happened to all the ones that were there before. I'm okay with little errors as long as it boots. Okay, yeah, nothing else is coming out of this system right now. So let's go check any one of our nodes. Let's do it this way. We'll run it as Ansible, and we'll do Podman images down the line. He got lost at the 7-Eleven store. So now we do Podman images, and if all of them have that, they should all be empty. Yep. Another command that's always fun is podman ps, right? Is anything running on any of those nodes? Nope. So, Bottleneck, you're welcome to lurk. I appreciate you doing so. Anybody hanging out in general, you know, you guys are always welcome to just hang out. My system is now set up like the it's like the calm before the storm now. Everything's set up. It's almost like a teacher that set up his classroom. I've got everything ready on these 19 nodes for what I'm going to do in the lab. Now I got to go build the lab out. The lab will be using Docker commands and building a Docker file. Then you'll be doing your Podman, and then you'll be doing your Podman-T to tag your Docker file build that you do locally. And I'll give you guys some options. I'll let you guys go build pretty much whatever one. Actually, hold on. Let's go here. Hold on. I got to make sure. I don't want PS. I want df-h. Let's go look real quick. I need to see how much space they got. Pods are pretty small for the most part. They're all. Yeah, they got enough space. They got some space available. So, and if you do it in lab work, if you do all your builds out in lab work, which is an NFS share, no, because they'll still build it local. Yeah, we'll be fine. We're good. I could up the size of those, but they're kind of small because they're RAMFS boxes. I don't have anything running locally on them. Yeah. So I need to do that, and then maybe I'll go look at some of their course stuff. I haven't looked at anybody else's courses. I've been doing most of this just from something I had built before, and then just kind of by working through the different stuff. That's what I've been doing for all of our lab stuff, all of our system. Did my thing just stop working? Oh, it did. Okay. All right. The exam objectives. Yeah. I've actually purposely in our systems administration course. Some of you guys that have been doing it. I very much have been like trying not to be overly technical. And what I mean by that is, you got to do technical stuff. You got to do labs. You got to get your hands on the system in some way. But I've been trying to make it more towards the how does systems administration add value to a business, because I know that we can teach you the technical stuff in the labs. There's killer coda labs. There's all this stuff. I can get you guys hands on for like thousands of hours of stuff. But I really wanted the Linux systems administration course that we're doing to make you guys feel better working in the field, like understanding how the work comes in and what that looks like. And I've been trying to kind of focus on that. So, because the technical side, I mean, we gotta get our hands on a keyboard. We got to do that stuff, but we also like people can do that and I know this because there's a lot of hobbyists in Linux, but they never feel like they're ready to go do it professionally. And I think that everybody could do it professionally. They just have to suck it up and go do it, right? Like, and some people just need permission to go do it. Like they didn't realize how good they were. They knew a lot of stuff. They just never thought to do it in a corporate setting. And I think that with a little push, some of these guys could go do this stuff. So, all right. What else are we gonna do here, guys? It's only 8 for me. Kind of early still. I just hit 2 hours too streaming. So let me go look. Let me look at what else is going on over here. Oh man. Also, sometimes if you guys are in the Discord, we'll post jobs and stuff. Like I posted a job a little while ago, about an hour and a half ago, maybe like 2.5 hours ago, for an IT business analyst job. I know the guy who posted that. Like I personally know him. So when I post jobs, I almost always know the people, so I can at least introduce you or start a conversation if you guys want. I don't really just post random stuff that I find on the web, because I'm always on the web looking for jobs, right? Because of my college students. I'm always kind of around doing something, but yeah. Okay. So what else? Okay. Some people are on a break. Apparently there's an ad break. It's weird. I don't get ad breaks down here. Well, it's probably because I'm looking at both sides, but I do still see them up there. So people should be back from the ad break. And let's go. Tomorrow you're going to look for a job hunt after the Cert Plus? Nice. Yeah, if you get an RHCE, you should be able to find work. That's a general. I mean, I don't know what the industry like. I don't know what it looks like for jobs right now. There's always with businesses. There's always a lot of uncertainty before an election, but now that the election's technically over, a lot of times organizations start to go back to normal operations. Whether they think good things are coming or not, businesses tend to shy away from uncertainty. So do markets, by the way. Markets definitely go against uncertainty. And once uncertainty is done and we know what's going to happen, then we can start to plan against that certainty of something happening, and then we can start to spend money again or do whatever. And for organizations, I think more people are going to be hiring soon. Yeah. There's going to be more hiring and that kind of stuff going. So that's definitely something to look for some of you guys. So. Oh, I'm on an ad break now. I thought I just got off an ad break. It looks like I'm on one now. Yeah, Sec Plus is good. RHCS or RHCE will open a lot of doors though, where, a company will still hire you, and then and most of the defense contractors, if you've got the other things they need, which RHCE checks boxes for them sometimes, if you've got that, they'll hire you on and pay you to do your Sec Plus. So just know that the security side of things. So if people don't know this, I'll tell you, the top secret clearance. When I got my top secret clearance in 2009 in the USA, the average cost to go and search everything and do all the stuff that's required for that was $178,000. Now I don't know if that's still true. It's probably higher now because I got mine in 2009. My top secret clearance. But I'm just telling you, like that, like going and paying for you to take a security plus for $300, that's water under the bridge to those dudes. They literally couldn't. They couldn't even be bothered to sign the thing to approve it. They just stamp it. It's approved. So just know that. Like if you check the other boxes that they want, that's an easy one. They'll get you the Sec Plus. They'll send you to a camp for the Sec Plus. Yeah, if you didn't know that, on the U.S. side of things. Now the U.S. side of things, you do have to have the if you're going to get a top secret, you got to have pretty clean nose, pretty clean background. You have to be able to account for where you've been and what you were doing, basically. And the more foreign contacts you have, the harder it is, but it's not that big of a deal. Not really. But yeah, I mean, I got my TS back in 2009, and I did my polygraph in like 2011. Polygraphs are brutal. So yeah, if you don't go outside, you should be good. As long as you've been working and then you did something else. I just got added to a JIRA project. That's always scary. What the hell is this? Oh gosh. I just got added to more work, guys. Oh no. Every time you get added to a new JIRA project, you're like, oh, more work. More stuff happening to me. Alright. What are we gonna do, guys? Are we gonna sit here and work on stuff, or am I gonna mess around and play Brotato? That's the question. Nah, I should do stuff. I was messing around on Brotato earlier. Too late. You already interacted with us. Yes, that was section. Yeah. Top secret is valuable. I can have mine turned back on if I ever need to, but I won't do a polygraph ever again. So I probably wouldn't work in that space. I didn't like the process of a polygraph. I don't like the fact they have to do certain things to you in a polygraph, and I'm just gonna tell you certain personalities that doesn't blend well with, and I don't like it. So if you don't know what that means, you can go look up interrogations or polygraphs if you want. You might not find that you're a person. If you've never been in an interrogation or a polygraph, they're the same thing. It's not fun. It's not a great thing. So I would never do that part of it again. So I probably won't ever work for a defense contractor again. But yeah, sending. I did not like the polygraph process. I did not like what they had to do. I've never been. I've never been in a interrogation before of any type, but I'll tell you, I have a personality that does not bend well with being in an interrogation, and this was a friendly interrogation. Um, I just don't know because I have 0 and an 11, and if you guys don't know, they play with you. That's how interrogations work. They set you off on purpose, and it's not good. It's not. Um, yeah, I don't like that. So just want to move on from manual labor. I did manual labor when I was younger. I get it. So I get it. All right. What are we doing, guys? Are we playing Brotato or are we working more on labs? I got to build the whole thing out. If this comes up, I got to build the whole thing out. By the way, somebody asked me earlier, and I felt a little bad. In case you guys didn't know, the little closed captioning that I'm running, that's just PowerPoint in the background. PowerPoint has a nice little function for closed captioning. But somebody asked me earlier, and I felt like maybe they were a little, not embarrassed, but they were a little, I feel like they were a little reticent to ask me. And I was like, I wasn't trying to be a jerk or standoffish. I just didn't, nobody had asked that in a while. So I was like, there you go. Yeah, babies are always gonna do that. Babies take up a lot of the nighttime, especially if they get a weird. You got to get babies on a good schedule. If the baby, we've had the grandbaby's almost 4 now, but we have the grandbaby sometimes, and he sleeps really well now, but he's very mobile. If you're not like we heard him. Me and the wife had him, so when the kids come in town, and then the grandbaby's around, he'll stay up with us. And when he was here last time, he got to the door and we heard the door slam and we both woke up and we're like, oh, where is he? And we went and got him. We went and Ezra, get back over here, right? And we grabbed him, and then we went downstairs and we were like, hey, Bradley, we're like, hey, we caught Ezra at the door, and he goes, no, he got out like an hour ago, and he came down here and laid by me for a bit, and that was him going back up there, and we were like, oh, he got away from us. Babies are sneaky, man. They'll sneak in and out, but I have you guys can't see it, like directly behind me, right between me and the rack of equipment I have one of those big giant. Have you guys ever seen one of these? Hold on. It's a queen size. I'm not spelling it right, but have you guys ever seen these queen size corduroys? I've got one sitting. You might be able to see it if I move enough. I've got this big giant queen size you probably can't see it. There's also a pillow on top of it. But anyways, we've got one, and ours looks like we've got this one downstairs, but we use them because they're super easy to turn into a bed for when people come over. But when Ezra's here, he just gets it as a big beanbag, right? Hold on. Ours is softer than that. I could probably try to pick this thing up if you guys want to see. But ours is queen. We do queen. They're big, heavy duty. Ours is very similar to. We do have pockets on ours. That's similar to what ours looks like. Anyways, we just throw the grandbaby in that thing. By the way, I pick him up and chuck him down in it all the time, and he loves the stupid thing. But they're great because they also turn into beds. But if you got just a little grandbaby, you just stuff them in there, and it becomes a whole bed. And then you buy little waterproof things for them just so that they don't have accidents or nothing on them. But they turn into big beds like this. If you've never seen one of these, they're really good. Like, they're really nice for because I have friends come over for like wrestling camps and stuff, and they'll come over to like train in a gym in the local area or whatever, and you can just turn it into a bed like that. And that doesn't have a waterproof cover on it, but you can put a waterproof cover on it, and then just whatever. So yeah. Baby L has figured out how to open doors with hands. Well, you probably taught him how to climb, him or her. I think I forget. But anyways, yeah. All we got to worry about most of the time is Ranger Dog. Ranger doesn't do much. But we have, those little beds are pretty good. Hold on, what's this training game plan thing? Do I have to put some... I gotta teach somebody at work how to build containers too now, so that's going to be fun. So good old Ranger. Oh, if you haven't seen Ranger in a while, sending. Oh man, thanks for the bits though. That's kind of nice. It's like flipping a nickel every now and then, but yeah, Ranger's good. Ranger's cam is much lower because my brother Tommy, who I think you know him, sending. He's in the server, Timodius. He turned 40 on the 29th, so like last week. Ranger also turned 13 on the 29th, so they had the same birthday. But we were out of town in Hawaii, right? So Ranger went to stay with my brother Tommy, and we had a big birthday party. And Tommy came over and took all my tables and chairs, because I have like tables and chairs for parties and stuff. This room is very modular. We can put up a whole bunch of this room, that now that you can see more of it because we're facing out to Ranger, you could put a bunch of like 6-foot tables in this room and like chairs. So I could probably fit like 20 something people sitting in here to eat. So this is kind of like a modular room. And then we got another room that's pretty modular on the other side of the house. And anyway, so where I'm going with that, Tommy came over and took all of those. So the chair that Ranger's camera normally sits on and looks down on him, we had to move. So I moved it over here by the fireplace. So now like you can see Ranger, yeah. And he's old. He's just an old dog. He gets up slow. We got him his little carpet over here so he doesn't slide on the tile nearly as much. But he's getting old. And we looked it up. A 13-year-old dog, his age, is the equivalent of being 78 years old, I think. 70, yeah, I think 78 years old as a human. If he makes it to 14, that'll be the equivalent of being 88. Now, dog years are typically 7 years, right? But because of his size, they assess it differently. There's like a different scale now or something. So I think we determined if he could make it to 16, was it 15? It was 15 or 16. He would be equivalent of 100. But oh man, he's been coughing a lot, and he's been like getting super antsy when he comes and stands by us. So I'm kind of a little worried about him. But you know, I tell him, I'm like, you don't have to do anything anymore, Ranger. You can just lay around. But he still gets super antsy, and he taps on his toes a lot on the tile. That's how you always know Ranger's coming, because he taps on the tile with his toes. It's like Clacker from the old Driz series in the Underdark. If anybody gets that reference, let me know, because Clacker was one of my favorite. Clacker is one of the, you know, I'm not even going to tell you guys, but I'm just going to tell you it's sad. It's very tragic. Good old Clacker. But anyways, I'll have to reread that now. I haven't read that in a while. That's the origin story of Driz Do'Urden, if you guys know who that is. Does it not know how to say Do'Urden? Whatever. Anybody know who that is? Am I just talking to, maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm losing. Probably everybody fell asleep on me. I don't know. What do we got here? Anybody that's come to the server, welcome. Obviously, the bot's greeting you in its usual bot fashion. You can ask the bot things too if you want. You can ask the bot, why are you so fly? Can you enumerate the kernel activities while I'm filtering NetFlow traffic? Boom. It'll tell you all kinds of stuff. That bot knows all kinds of things, and it'll tell you it like it's a rude senior admin and you didn't go and read your man pages before you talk to them. So, boom. Here's NetFlow stuff. So, I don't know. The bot's pretty good. Fisherman's responsible for the bot, so if the bot talks trash to you and hurts your feelings, lodge all complaints with him. I'm sure he will fix it accordingly. That's Fisherman's job. Also, Fisherman said he was busy the last few days, so I guess that's why he hasn't been streaming during the day, but we've been trying to get him to stream a little more. So anyways, we're back to normal schedule. Saturdays we're going to do the sysadmin course for people that want to come to that. That's free. It's free, but it's going to take you 6 to 8 hours of your time each week to do, and you're halfway through the course behind, so it's going to take you 16 hours a week for the next 8 weeks to catch up. So weigh the costs of doing that, right? You want to weigh the costs of doing anything as opposed to maybe going out and drinking on Friday night or something, right? Um, but that, yeah, the goal of that is to get you ready. Oh, there's a project with that too. That project takes extra time too. That project's probably going to be at least a 40-hour project if I were to guess. Getting ready for that. Yeah, shout out to Fisherman for sure. He's always doing stuff. You guys should follow him if you don't. All you gotta do is click on the little name that Robodom just sent, that little shout out, and it'll take you over to his page, and you can follow him. He does a lot of cloud stuff. He does a lot of AI stuff too. So like image generation, and he built those labs that we were just doing earlier, and he built a lot of the LLM stuff. So he also has an AI cert for AWS. So if you guys want to, oh no, sorry, it's not AI. It's the generic. It's like it was like an entry level cert that they just opened up. It's like it was open beta when he did it, and I think it's only $50 too. So he posted that in the Discord a while back too. So $50 isn't too bad. We do have a bunch of free stuff for people that want to go take free certs down here in the beginner start here. These are like the free certs that are out there to take, but I mean free, but you got to spend some time. And this top one, if you go take it, we have a nice little lab book that one of our guys, YGBSM, wrote together. Yeah, YBGSM. Haven't seen him since he wrote it. He wrote it and then he disappeared. He like rode off into the sunset after he left that with us. We haven't seen him since. We might have saw him for a month after that or so, but then he was gone. So we hope he's okay somewhere, but I haven't seen him. What else do we got, guys? I don't really have anything else for you. So, what we can do, we can find somebody to raid. Let's see what our raids look like. Let's see who's out there. Wallaber's on. He's always fun. Sid's on. Midnight's on. We can go raid. Let's go raid over to Midnight Simon. He's always fun. If you guys don't know Midnight Simon, he does a lot of leak coding. He does C++ programming, and apparently he's going to try to do React for a little bit. So we'll go raid over to him. I will see some of you guys tomorrow. We'll do our normal little stream on Fridays where we kind of hang out before the wife gets home. And date night will go well if the wife isn't super sick, but if she is sick, then maybe I'll have to hold off on the raid night. Just a girl in tech. Where do I go to get caught up on the sysadmin course? Go to the Discord and then go to Prolug Projects. So go to Prolug Projects and that'll get you there. All right. So hopefully that'll reach you there. Just a girl in tech before I bounce off of here. But all right, take care, everybody.